What's up, everyone? Today's divination sessions, we are diving into October breakthroughs. So not sure what's going to come through, but I'm anticipating it being around, insights, spiritual breakthroughs, personal breakthroughs, relational breakthroughs, career breakthroughs, whatever, just breakthroughs. I'm kind of just leaving it open to the guides as always, because, we can go into these things having a certain type of intention, but it's like you get what you need, right? You hear what you need to. So you guys kind of know the routine. You're going to take what resonates and leave the rest, understanding that these are group readings. So it's going to be a more generalized feel. Your guides, depending on how much you've strengthened your own psychic abilities, they're probably already pretty tuned in if you're drawn to this type of thing anyways. But just keep in mind that your guides will be communicating alongside you, or the universe, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, will be sending you messages and signals in different ways through like flashing something across the screen of your consciousness, memories, sensations, you might hear things, etc. So just be aware, this is very much so you just not receiving this. This is a co-creative experience. So 4 piles to choose from today. Tune into each pile. Take your time. Sometimes I like to do this differently. Sometimes I'm tuning into the picture. I'm using, my clairvoyant gifts. Sometimes I am I'll take this to like a random number generator if I'm like thinking too hard about it. You can just type that in on Google. Sometimes I'll go based off of, the number sequences. Sometimes there's like a specific number sequence I keep seeing. And then if I see it in a pick a card reading, generally it's like a pretty significant message. I mean, that's happened. That's been very, very consistent. It's like the ones that the numbers tend to be pretty spot on with something I've been seeing in my external reality. Like those readings in particular tend to be like extremely personal or seem like they're very personal. So tune into how it works for you. 4 piles. Whenever you're ready, we're going to jump on into these readings. All right, friends. So, I've been doing this a little bit differently lately. It's kind of different every time, but I'm just trying to narrow down my editing time just so this doesn't feel like a drag when I'm doing it. Because sometimes in the past, how I was editing it made me not as excited for these things because it just took so long. So this is what I have for you. I don't want to see this tarot card back here. I have a few oracles right here. I have these crystal cards, and then I have tarot. I'm going to do this all real time. I haven't looked at any of the cards yet. We're going to do that together. Honestly, it'll probably be different for every pile how I do this because that's just like how it goes. So let's tune into the oracles first, and then we'll get into tarot. And I generally like to save these crystals for last. The crystal cards, just because it tends to wrap everything up very nicely. So your oracles for October breakthroughs, what you can look forward to for the rest of the month. And just know that these are energies you're probably already feeling. So if this doesn't feel right, if this doesn't intuitively click for you, then maybe select a different pile or come back at a later time. It says October, but these are really timeless, honestly. So we have deep cellular healing, Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. Beautiful. I've never actually pulled this card. She kind of looks like me. with that short curly hair. And then loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density and addiction, let God in. Okay, so there's a lot of karmic cleansing that you will be experiencing in the month of October. You might already be feeling this. With these 2 cards coming up next to each other, I feel like this is probably a deep karmic pattern that has tended to follow you around for most of your life. Think of things like eating disorders or just other types of addictions in general. Sugar, going towards sugar, or imbalanced mechanisms, pornography, things like that. I know things that can be hard or tough to talk about. Whatever it is, right? It's one of those things. I feel like you guys will be experiencing something, or maybe you are on the other end of experiencing something, or maybe you just feel like you're coming back around, revisiting a karmic loop that has been following you for most of your life, whatever that be, right? So, the first thing that's coming through from the guides in terms of breakthroughs is I feel like even if you're revisiting an old pattern or habit that has been non-serving in the past, just remember that you your amount of growth is not dictated by whether or not you start, like a habit comes back up again. Your amount of growth is identified by how quickly you move past that. And generally what I've noticed working with other people and just being very aware of my own journey is that, you know, these demons and these negative energy, whatever you want to call it, tend to hide behind shame and embarrassment. But when you remove the shame and embarrassment because you're no longer identifying with that habit or pattern, then these things kind of like take care of themselves. They disintegrate quite rapidly. It's like when you look at it in the eyes, it's like, I just heard this analogy the other day of Rumpelstiltskin. He was like this, there was this fairy tale about this like guy named Rumpelstiltskin who would like, he was a baby snatcher or something. And so he would go around snatching babies, and essentially there was a woman whose baby was kidnapped or stolen by Rumpelstiltskin. And he was like, if you can guess my name, if you can call me by my true name, then you can have your child back. Otherwise, I'm going to devour her or it or whatever. And the woman was able to say his name, and therefore he was like, oh, I'm seen, and was, you know, gave the baby back. So essentially what that means, it's like, think of the baby as being something prized, something that you really hold dear to yourself, or like a dream or a goal or a vision of yourself that you want to achieve. And Rumpelstiltskin, like that's essentially being able to identify these karmic knots or these illusions and seeing them for what they truly are, right? And then when you do, they tend to evaporate. They cannot last in the light of your truth. So whatever you guys are experiencing, maybe you're revisiting some sort of heavy pattern that you've held a lot of deep shame around in the past, and this is an opportunity to let God come in, let God in by surrendering and not judging yourself, even if you do revert back to some old coping mechanisms. Like, hold the amount of awareness you can hold in that moment will determine how much you deepen that karmic knot or how much you've just loosened it. So when you kind of let yourself become very unaware during that, it's kind of safe to say that you're deepening that karmic knot, right? And there's so many layers to this. This is a very generalized statement, so just bear with me. But the amount of awareness you can hold during that experience, so you're kind of watching that pattern play itself out, will determine how much you are able to loosen yourself from that karmic grip, right? So calling it what it is, deep cellular healing. So yeah, this might also just be saying too that, yeah, sometimes when we go through intense activations or intense healings and there's a lot of shifting internally, we like have this desire to ground into our body. We can feel really blasted off and it can almost be uncomfortable. So sometimes we resort to sugar or food or something that like makes us feel heavy in our body or really connected to our body. Even if it's like we go out and party and then the next day we have a terrible hangover. In a weird way, that is your spiritual self trying to ground into the human body. So you just might be going through a lot of activations, etc. in general, that are kind of like triggering these old habits, these old versions of self that didn't quite know how to process that in the past, but now you're seeing through a different framework, you're seeing through a more expanded lens of perception. So that seems like it's, you know, your biggest breakthrough is around like these old karmic patterns. I feel like you're going to leave the month of October feeling like you really overcame something that in the past would have caused you to feel really bad about yourself and maybe amped up your negative self-talk. But I'm hearing that overall you're going to feel extremely like nurturing of yourself and very free. Like there's a lot less identification with the small self and the ego self that I feel like you are going to experience. You're creating more space between the ego self and your true self, the higher self, right? And just kind of, again, being the witness, seeing this play itself out. So let's see what the tarot has to say. We have the Seven of Swords and we have the Devil. I'm not surprised. You know, the Devil card really does talk about addiction. So this is kind of confirming that, yeah, it might feel like one of those situations like you are you almost have no control over it. What does that mean, Spirit? Like, you're kind of watching yourself go down this path that it's almost like you know better. But again, Spirit is just reiterating that it's karmic patterns kind of like clearing itself out. This deep cellular healing is occurring. So even if you don't succumb, you just might feel a strong pull to want to revert back to old ways in general. You know, however you're dealing with this, essentially, again, this is a group reading. However you're dealing with this old pattern, this old addiction, this old way of kind of coping is shifting, right? And it might feel pretty powerful, but overall it's like you're making it out, right? This guy, what I love about the Seven of Swords is this depicts a battle going on behind this individual, but it's like this person is making it out alive. So the seven cards also talk about, they're like the contemplation cards. So it's kind of seeing where you've been. It's, again, the Swords family too just represents willpower. So it's kind of reminding you that on one level, while yes, this is like a deep cellular healing, like you can feel this in your physical body, I'm also hearing it's important to know that this is also a mechanism of your mind. So we create a feedback loop between mind and body, between our, overall physiology. So the more that you can like stay above it and remain the witness, no matter if you're playing those things out, it's so important to not slip into judgment and to see it for what it truly is, right? Calling it by its real name is just what keeps coming up. And I keep hearing that song by what's his face. Y'all know what I mean. Call Me By My Name, that song. Whatever it is, I keep hearing that song over and over again. So maybe that is like relevant or, relevant to some of you guys. I keep hearing that song over and over. So yeah, invitation to allow spirit to come through. This is also asking you to go into meditation. Again, meditation, the benefits of this are exponential. I mean, I could make a whole freaking 18-hour long video probably about the benefits of meditation, but in this case, it's going to help you not identify so much with your shadow self. This also just talks about having a lot of like unfulfilled, you have a lot of potential that's lying within the shadow realms. And sometimes when we don't have a proper way to channel that potential, it can come up in this distorted ways, these distorted behaviors. So, Seven of Swords too can also just talk about like sneaky energies or sneaky people around us. So just be mindful of who you're sharing things with, who you go to for advice. Make sure it's someone that holistically, that really understands the spiritual experience, because I'm just getting that you have more well-rounded understanding of the nature of reality. So, not going to people who are going to perpetuate this negative side or this non-serving side, or these beliefs that kind of keep you tethered to this karmic wheel, these karmic patterns. So we have a few more tarot cards that did come through. We also have the Ace of Wands. We have the 10 of Wands in reverse. So yeah, huge overcoming. And then we have the 9 of Pentacles. So yeah, with the 9 of the Pentacles and the 10 of Wands in reverse. So the 10 of Wands in an upright position can talk about like people coming in to help us and support us. And the 9 cards, the 9 of Pentacles specifically talks about like being like the self-fulfillment. So I feel like this is really asking you, obviously do what you're guided to, but I feel like there's a deep part of you that is like, your guides are asking you to be more self-reliant on when it comes to dealing with these karmic intricacies and these things that feel like they are really hard to step past, or they cause a lot of embarrassment or shame, like learning to rely more on yourself, capital S-E-L-F, relying more on God, right? Some of you might feel like you don't have a lot of people to turn to that like understand you, or that understand the realms of spirituality. So a lot of the times I feel like you're left feeling worse. You're left feeling like you have more of a burden, or that you just talked to someone that made you feel even shittier about the situation. I don't mean to laugh, but I can totally understand, And then with this Ace of Wands, I feel like this is saying that I really feel like this is a true breakthrough. Like, I feel like you are overcoming a really big karmic loop, and I'm not sure how this is going to be across the board for you guys. So that's why I feel like I'm not getting too many specifications, but the way you're handling it, or the air you're carrying yourself in, or excuse me, I must be onto something, because generally I like don't really burp throughout the day until I do like tarot readings. It's really weird. So I feel like this is very promising. This is a really good omen. This is a very good indication that you are freeing up, right? The fire cards or the wand energy is all about potential, unexpressed potential, and like new exciting beginnings, innovations, the opportunity to travel, the opportunity to network, to meet a lot of people. Like there's a lot of creative power that I feel like is being unlocked at this time. And again, we had that message coming through about learning how to channel that in the proper ways. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, because you are going through this deep emotional, physical healing this month, you are just opening the doorway. You're creating a lot of space within your field in order to have a new, exciting start of some sort. So yeah, I feel like this message is pretty straightforward, like learning to be more self-reliant, learning to be the person that you go to first, like not putting so much authority and so much like seeking advice so much from outside of yourself, like taking it to your puja table, taking it to God, like surrendering, right? Loosening your grip. The reason that addiction tends to be so overwhelming, and again, this is speaking from someone, it's not lip service, I've been through it. I feel like one of the reasons why it can have such a heavy grip over us is because we have identified so much with the part of ourself that feels like it is the addiction, or we've identified so much with the smaller self that we're trying to get away from at the same time, right? And we do that through, your addiction could be partners, your addiction could be, sex, your addiction could be YouTube, your addiction could be tarot readings, right? There can be so many different ways that we try to escape this uncomfortable feeling of just sitting with ourselves. And so often, once we just undo that energy, we sit with that energy and we don't attach stories to it as much as we can. We release the stories. We just let God in. We surrender to whatever is trying to show us. It's like then we open channels. We literally deepen our channels, man. I cannot attest to this more. It's like when I feel old karmic triggers and old karmic wounds coming up and I just sit with it, I move through those things so quickly, and it's like within a span, like it might be heavy, it might feel really heavy for like a day or so, but because I'm not perpetuating identification, or I'm not perpetuating old stories, which stories and circumstances, events, people are just an invitation to let this energy come up. We don't have to make it mean anything, right? Like I am left feeling so much better, and I feel like a brand new person, and the way I talk is different, the way I carry myself is different, and I literally feel like I shed a skin very rapidly in comparison to like versions even just a year ago or 2 years ago, when I would make it so much about the story and the addiction and the person, etc., forgetting that spirit is trying to set me free, forgetting that it's not about the story, it's not about the person, it's about the energy. What have you then made it mean about yourself, right? So yeah, I feel like on the other side of this breakthrough is a brand new beginning of some sort. It might be one aspect of your life, or it might be just like a holistic, like a brand new beginning. You're like, all right, fuck this. I'm done. I'm done playing small. I'm done with this. And I just feel like overall October, you're going to feel very brand new. Like you are handling things differently. You're handling situations differently. And it seems like you are really releasing yourself from things that really weighed you down a lot in the past. So right away, before I read these to you guys, these have to do with the sacral and the solar plexus chakras, both of these crystals. So, in my experience, addiction, and this is working with other people and from personal experience, any type of like distorted way of manipulating our out of reality, or like craving something and wanting something and seeking that something to like fulfill something within us, it's because we're feeling unsafe, right? We're feeling unsafe, or there was a part in our childhood or emotional, I'm not a psychologist or whatever, and this is me just trying to break this down very quickly. So again, very general, but there was a point in time where we didn't feel fully safe and secure, and like we had all of our needs met, right? Especially at this stage of the planet, it's like the likelihood of people having this is pretty high. So I'm not surprised we have these lower chakra energies coming through of like what your breakthrough is going to be, what this healing is going to be, what your insights are going to be around. And then we also have the Ace of Wands coming up because, creativity and grounding things onto the earth plane and, feeling confident enough to follow those hunches you're getting from spirit comes from having a strong sense of self and a strong foundation. And so again, with this Nine of Pentacles, it seems like your foundation, I think also too, you're starting to realize that you have yourself more together than I think you give yourself credit for. That's something that I just heard. And yeah, fruitful, like continue to, the more self-reliant you can become, the better. And again, this doesn't mean not asking for help, not asking for a listening ear if you need it. But again, like you are your higher self is your only sense of authority, right? Coming back to yourself. And I feel like this will, there's really good things in store. Like this energy feels like it's just like dislodging, and you've been working at it for a while, I'm feeling, and you've dislodged it so much that I feel like you're finally like feeling very free. It's almost like you've released enough pressure from this anchor that you can finally float away. It still might be heavy. It still might be, it still might be there a little bit, but, as you progress and as you continue to, follow your insight and not identify with your lower self, the quicker you're going to let go of those ties to that anchor, right? Okay, let's start with this one. This one has to do with the sign Gemini and the planet Mercury. This is agate. So stability, grounding, and truth. So this is a stabilizing stone. Agate is used to balance the mind, body, spirit, creating harmony in all areas of your life, much like the patterns on the crystal itself. So grounding and supportive, agate helps to reveal inner truths, cleansing beneath the surface to expose your authentic self. And generally it's these patterns and addictions that, conceal the authentic self, right? So a wonderful stone to heal resentment. Agate frees you from the self-imprisonment of anger, replacing it with safety and security. Agate takes its time, vibrating at a slow and steady pace, and encourages you to take as much time as you need for the matter at hand. I'm not surprised. So again, letting this run itself out, not attaching timelines or being like attaching stories like, I should be over this by now. It's like, release the story. Just let it be what it is. And because ironically you don't make it mean a big deal, it's going to be over like that. And you're going to feel so free so much sooner. So yeah, what else came up? So yeah, self-imprisonment again is really this devil energy that I'm feeling. And it comes from, forgetting that if you let your mind run rampant, then that's literally the cage that you create around your spirit, is what your mind tries to tell you is true. So next we have Wolfenite. This one talks about stability, grounding, and truth, right? That makes a lot of sense. This talks about journey, past life, and soul contracts. So the sign it resonates with is Sagittarius, and the planets are Venus and Mars. The journey has only just begun. I definitely felt that for you too. Like Ace of Wands literally talks about a brand new exciting journey. So Wolfenite can travel through your past, present, and future, opens up communication with the spirit world. It also helps in past life recognition, helping you to see soul contracts that you've made in this lifetime, facilitating the karmic reunion and completing a cycle once the lesson has been learned. And I think I feel like this is your breakthrough. You're learning a significant lesson that is going to free you from this karmic cycle, right? This karmic pattern. Wolfenite is a powerful past life healing stone, resolving any issues that need to be faced and regaining magic lost in past lives to be used here and now. So, that might be something to look into. These crystals might be something to look into. I'm going to put up both the names here. You might pause the video, take a screenshot of this if you want to. I'm not sure. Can you guys see that? There we go. That should be good. But yeah, I feel like this kind of confirms everything. The main thing that I feel like this Wolfenite touched on that we didn't address was the past life clearing. So again, understanding that, these things that feel karmic and very heavy, the heaviest things we experience are generally come from generational karma as well. There's a lot of collective karma. And then again, this just might be a past life lesson and a past life learning that you are deepening your lesson of, or deepening your understanding of, or maybe even finally releasing yourself from within this lifetime. So I feel like October is really great for you. You're going to just feel free. You're going to feel so free. And again, it's like when you understand the nature of energy and what's happening, it can help release judgment. So you're going through deep healing, right? Deep purges. And the ego likes to hold on to what it's known. It's because all it's known is its past stories and what makes it feel heavy and what makes it keeps it alive, right? And so I feel like you're gonna finally feel a new level of freedom by the end of this month, and a new exciting beginning is coming in, man. Can't wait to see what that is for you. But with new wisdom too, right? Newfound wisdom with that owl that I just noticed. All right, friends, if this reading resonated, please give it a thumbs up. I am offering personal readings, and I have about a year's worth of other tarot videos on my more personal primary channel, and everything is linked in the description box. I hope this brought you something, and I hope I see you soon. What's up, pile number 2? If you chose this crystal, this is your reading. So we got some tarot cards. We have a few tarot cards. Man, I think you guys actually had the most tarot cards come out. Look at that, just with that deck alone. And then I have some oracles for you, and then another one. So we're going to start with the oracles. I'm going to save the crystal cards for last, just because it can tie everything up beautifully. So let's see, the month of October breakthroughs, insights, guidance, etc. So first oracle, star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. Ooh, this already feels so good. And then earth pulsing, pulse of the mother, slow down, time in nature. So yeah, I feel like this is really clear to me. You guys are literally, oh my God. Oh my God, wait, this is so cool, you guys. Wait, man. I was gonna say how complimentary these cards are, but look, it's literally like the same image, but one's in the stars and one's on the earth. So yeah, which further confirms what I was about to say, that you guys are going through an immense light body activation. Like psychic skills are probably enhancing. You guys probably just feel a new level of just like, fuck with me, or a new level. What I mean by that is like, you just feel so much more you and so much more powerful. I'm already feeling from this group, it's like, I feel like what's happening is you have really been putting in a lot of work in terms of releasing and not working so hard, right? So that's what the month of October is really going to show you, is your mastery in terms of that. If you guys have already been working thoroughly at this, and or the month of October is going to really allow you to see tangible results in your life of like the 80-20 kind of effort, you know, the 80-20 thing, like 80% in this case of your time spent connecting to yourself, following your joy, following your bliss, right? Connecting to spirit, clearing yourself out, emptying yourself out. And then that 20% of like taking that inspired action, actually like going out into the world and acting on it, and see how like when you take 2 steps, man, the universe takes like 1,800. So yeah, it's so beautiful. I feel like you guys are expanding at a very rapid pace. You're obviously, you know, we have the word activation. And so spirit just wants you to nurture yourself during this time. This time of, you're probably having profound insights, profound epiphanies, man. Like these types of experiences where you find yourself in settings, or you find yourself at a retreat, or you find yourself at a workshop, or you're like reading a book, and it's like, you see something about yourself, or you see a pattern in your life that like blows your mind to where like your whole life almost makes sense up to that point in time. Like these types of epiphanies and these types of activations, even if it doesn't catch up to your conscious self, your cognitive mind just yet. Hold on really quick, you guys. Totally forgot the dryer was still going. So yeah, the spirit is just asking you, obviously, to slow down and to take it easy on yourself, rest. You know, especially, I think whenever we out of Mercury retrograde, I know in general, there tends to be advice around Mercury retrograde to just like take it easy and to not overexert yourself in general. But, you know, you're getting full permission from your guides to just like bask in your light and to bask in these very beautiful, very freeing, it feels like orgasmic light body activations that you guys will be experiencing and or are already experiencing. Specifically, these activations have to do with your third eye and your solar plexus. So being a lot more in tune with your gifts, your psychic gifts, and trusting it more, trusting your intuition more. And that feeds your self-confidence. That feeds your ability to feel like you actually can rely on yourself. And it's not even that you're relying on yourself, like your small self. You're relying on your self, like capital SELF, self. So yeah, this is just, I can't get over just like how parallel these pictures are of these women laying down and just like soaking it up. So it's like, you know, your physical body is on earth, but your astral body is just taking off, man. Pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to repetitive things that you hear or videos that come in to your experience or resources that kind of talk about the same thing. That's your guides wanting to usher you in a certain direction. But overall, I'm hearing there's an importance to, you know, be gentle with yourself and really focus on self-care because you guys are rapidly expanding. Man, the month of October is going to feel very quick moving on one level, but you're being asked to go slowly. So often we can have these rapid epiphanies and realizations and be like, okay, what do I do? Like I want to do something with it. But it's really important that you just focus on being being comfortable and accustomed to this energy, this new energy that you've unlocked within yourself. Wow, so let's get deeper into it with the tarot. I'm going to start with this guy. So you have the Fool. Look at that. Bright new beginning. Yes, you guys are feeling brand spanking new. This butterfly just reminds me too, going through a transformation. This crystal that he's holding, it represents being able to see things more clearly. So I feel like the month of October, literally the theme is like breakthrough. You're going to have so many insights if you're not already having this. If you're not already feeling like profoundly shifted by insights and by experiences and just like, you just feel like all of your life makes sense up to this point and you're like, wow, I just feel so renewed and I can do this and like I don't have to try so hard, right? This is really about just like being in flow with life and giving yourself permission to dance throughout it. Yeah, let's see what else is coming through because I have a little bit of a message, but I just want to confirm with the rest of these tarots. It was the first thing that was confirmed. So I was drawn to this. And I didn't want to get ahead of myself, but yeah, look at that. So this might entail a new love opportunity. It might entail, you might just have new friendships or just an existing relationship or an existing friendship is really going to deepen or, someone new might come in that's more at your level. In general, like when we go through these profound internal shifts, life will we'll be guided to like take a course or we'll be guided to like take a workshop where, we meet people that are actually reflective of where we're at. Because what I'm hearing is generally you tend to be pretty above and beyond most of the people that you tend to be around. So I feel like you're going to be really feeling really seen by people, like truly seen by people because they are more within your soul family, within your soul group. They've kind of unearthed and unveiled themselves to similar degrees that you have. So yeah, I mean, month of October might also involve like new love and romantic opportunities. And I just heard surrender to the sweetness. And I actually got butterflies in my stomach and my heart just like felt like it was opening. So, bask in it. Give yourself permission to understand that you are worthy of this. That's something really important that your guides just wanted me to reiterate to you is that you deserve this. And when things start to get really good, you can have the tendency of being like almost like a fear will come up waiting for the other shoe to drop, or like you feel like you don't deserve it on some level because you did this in the past, or you told this white lie to this one person in the past that their hair looked good and you really didn't like it, or something like that, like something really small, something that is like not reflective of your true self. Like you deserve this. And so just soak in it. What else do we have? We have the Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, I'm really seeing like a level of maturity that you guys are going to be feeling in the month of October. Like you're really going to be feeling internally, and people are going to receive you as someone that is very nurturing, that is very on their game, that seems very abundant, whether, financial money is involved in that or not. Overall, I'm getting that just your resources are completely going to be taken care of. They always have been, and they will continue to be. This Queen of Pentacles is also reiterating the importance to spend time in nature and to connect with your animals, take your dogs on walks more, take your cat on walks more. I don't know. I see some people out there with cats, there's actually someone in my neighborhood. Never mind. It's cute. He has a harness for his cat and everything, and it's so cute. So yeah, overall, the first thing I just heard was there's like a new level of maturity and groundedness that is going to be birthed at this time. I just heard that in the past you would have these activations and like Kundalini experiences, and it would cause a lot of anxiety. But these breakthroughs you're having actually allow you to feel very grounded. It's like you feel like it's a sense of you don't have to run anymore, like not feeling like you have anything to hide or anything. So what else is coming through? I was guided to take this top one first. We have the Three of Cups. So more opportunities to celebrate. This is a really good omen too if you're like, if you're wanting to expand in some way that has to do with like business or something on the emotional level, like expanding in terms of like family, maybe, expanding through adoption or pregnancy, or I feel like in general, this is showing you how much people just love being around you. I feel like that's a big insight that you're going to get. You're going to see more of your innate value. And not that we ever need it from the outside in, but I feel like you guys tend to be pretty hard and critical of yourself and very accepting of other people. So it's like this new, maturity comes with understanding you're either special and everyone else is special, or you're not special and no one else is special, right? It's like everyone's on the same level in the same playing field. And I feel like because of that, you just feel like you don't have anything to prove. And that space of not having anything to prove speaks volumes. And you're going to feel very celebrated and very admired the month of October. And so on one hand, Spirit's like, take it slow. And on another hand, it's like you're getting invitations left and right to like go to this party, to go to this Halloween party, to do this. Like people want to spend more time with you because they can deeply feel your connection, your bandwidth expanding rapidly, your connection to source expanding rapidly. Next, we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So yeah, I feel like this is you coming out of a time of feeling like your options were very limited, right? And although this does tend to, the Pentacles family tends to be more centered in earthly things, I feel like it's your shift in consciousness. This is going to sound so cheesy and so law of attraction-y and so regurgitated, but truly it's this profound inner shift that you have undergone that is allowing you to finally feel like, you know, the money or whatever, your side hustle, your business, the life of your dreams is actually starting to feel more realistic. You know, one of my favorite quotes from a satsang excuse me, is slow money better than no money. And I mean, if you've done your own thing for a while, you know how true that is. Like we celebrate all of it. We celebrate that trickle because sooner or later it's going to turn into a stream of abundance, like an actual motherfucking waterfall. So, you know, enjoy where you're at. Enjoy, like permission to enjoy the entire journey. Really quick, I want to reiterate there's a lot of water and there's a lot of like pentacles in both of this. A lot of water, a lot of emotional stability and grounding is coming through. A lot of emotional fulfillment for sure, especially in the department of relationships. So really seeing, you know, who's your people and that you probably have a lot more people and supporters and people on your side than I think you know. So next we have the Four of Swords. So fours are like caution cards. And of course, this is not, you know, tarot is not meant to be superstitious, but I feel like in this case, it's, you know, really giving yourself permission to assess relationships or situations from a much more like you're not so zoomed in on things. What the hell does that mean, Spirit? Okay, so it has been, you know, one of the reasons why you're going through this activation is I'm hearing that you've been very good at you're very good at seeing things from a much more broad perspective, and that is going to deepen in the month of October. That's why we tend to feel so good. That's what makes space for activations, or this activation you might see more and more that you are less zoomed in. It's almost like life is happening for you. It's like that, you know, that saying that's going around of like being the main character. It's like, yeah, you're the main character, but you're also like watching the movie just happen for you. I feel like you'll be in a state of just like, whoa, I didn't know it could be this good and I didn't know it could be this easy when I really do just give it up and trust and not try to like control. And you guys just might be the type of individual in general, because I am seeing all feminine energy except for this little fool card, but he looks a little androgynous to me, so he doesn't count. He's like a fairy or something. So a lot of this feminine energy giving you permission to take it slow. Again, one of the reasons why you might have felt like you were in this Five of Pentacles energy in the past, or this is something that you're coming out of in the month of October, is because you were trying to hyper control from a place of not trusting. So you were in that vibration of like lack and feeling disconnected from the universe. But with this rapid expansion of your light body and, you know, star bathing, going out, looking at the stars, remembering how interconnected we all are and how small we are, how small and insignificant like a bug is, and how it's completely taken care of. It has everything it needs to survive. Same with every other thing, creature that has ever existed, ever will. Notice how life has always given it exactly what it needed, exactly when it needed, right? And so same goes for you. Why would you be any different? You know, especially you little starseed, little light worker, being over here, vessel of God. And then Ace of Swords. Yeah. Lots of insight, right? This is the card of like being a visionary and literally having downloads. I'm seeing, actually, I just had a vision. If you guys are familiar with the Light Seers Tarot, it's like this woman is like looking from the side, her peripheral, and there's like a horn, a ram horn, and there's a spiral just kind of symbolic of receiving a lot of downloads. But yeah, this is literally my card of insights that are so profound and so powerful that you are left forever changed. You do not feel the same. You do not carry yourself the same. It's an internal thing. So even if the external doesn't really shift, because I'm not getting too much that anything outside will feel like it's shifted profoundly, but your lens of perception will. You are going to feel like anything is possible because you have worked really hard to be where you are, man, internally, spiritually. This is a very spiritual pile. So like, thank you for being here. This is a very in tune pile that knows the game of ascension. You guys have been here before. You guys have probably been on other dimensions, other planets before. Like y'all have been around the celestial block. You know what I mean? So it's like profound shift in the way that you see yourself and the way that you see the nature of reality. And ultimately you are starting to see even more through the eyes of God, right? You're less attached to your small egoic self, the limited self, and you're identifying more with your higher self and your power and your truth, man. And that's one of the reasons why you're getting new friendships, new dates, new people just wanting to break off a piece of that Kit Kat bar, you know what I mean? Because it's like they can feel your connection to source. They come around you. They like being around you because more often than not, being around you than other situations and other people, they feel God. They feel God through your connection to source. So let that remain your main connection, right? Because you guys are doing a really great job at that. And again, just being mindful of, being caution of who you accept invitations from and taking it slow, right? Okay, so let's get into this. Oh my God, this is so cool. Oh, okay, I totally sounded like that. Oh my God. Okay, so these are actually in this crystal deck. These have to do with a third eye and the crown chakra. So again, Ace of Swords is like crown. And then, you know, we had her like third eye activated here. And that's like something I said in the very beginning. I already knew that. Yeah, seeing things clearly with this crystal. So let's start with this rainbow aura quartz. This is one of my favorite. I actually have quite a few of these ones. Yep, this talks about auric healing, magic, and universal light. So fused with titanium, the metal power, rainbow aura quartz is amplified with enhanced healing properties. This stone is able to heal human energy fields by infusing the aura with rainbow fields of light. Rainbow aura quartz is a wonderful companion for astral projection and out-of-body experiences. Y'all are already doing that, especially in your dream state. Joining you in the beyond while keeping your physical self anchored. Literally what's happening here. That's literally what's happening. This is why I like reading these at the end. And if you've been around a while, you know I always freak out at this part. Okay, so colors have a healing quality in rainbow aura quartz and are able to match the tone to your aura's energy field to repair and release blocks. Living your life in color with this crystal is a must. So this resonates with all the signs, all the zodiac signs, and the planet specifically is Mars. So beautiful. I mean, confirmation number 1. And then this next one is ametrine. Energetic, intuitive, connected. The sign is Libra. The planets are Jupiter, Neptune, and Pluto. Nice. So a combination of amethyst and citrine. Ametrine opens the pathways between the physical realm and the spiritual realm. With a sunny disposition, the stone can alleviate stress during challenging life transitions. With the ability to go beyond the surface, ametrine brings the shadowy parts of us to the light, healing deep wounds and trauma by confronting them directly. Ametrine encourages you to hop in the driver's seat and take control over your life. Aiding in discernment and clarity, ametrine gives you the confidence to take the lead. So yeah, confidence, the Fool, certainty, being able to see things clearly. I feel like this is extremely, this is a very prevalent and prominent theme throughout this month. I mean, it's going to feel really good and people really want to taste that, and we're going to move on from that, but people just really want to be around that more, want to celebrate you more. And yeah, I feel like more and more you are being looked at and seen as a mentor and a guide for other people, and someone who's extremely grounded in themselves, someone that really knows what they're doing and really knows where they're going. Even if you feel like I'm just taking it a step at a time and I have no idea, it's like other people are like, wow, this person really has their shit together and like knows what the fuck is up, right? So I hope this brought you guys some clarity and confirmation. It seems like you guys already have enough of that to go around. So if anything, let this be a little gas up and just saying congratulations and thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your light. Thank you for letting me connect to this energy. And give this video a thumbs up if it resonated. Comment down below. I have a month's worth of other tarot readings in my description box. Look that up. And I'm also accepting personal readings if you are drawn to that. So all of that aside, I hope I see you guys soon. Hey, pile number 3, here is your reading for October breakthroughs, insights, blessings, material breakthroughs, financial breakthroughs, relational breakthroughs, personal breakthroughs, all of the above. We're gonna address it today. That's my dog. I'm like, what the hell is that? Okay, so just so you guys know, I haven't looked at any of your cards yet. Well, obviously I've just seen the front of these. Excuse me. We have 3 oracles that came out for you guys. You actually had the most. And then the rest are tarot. Well, and then I guess these are kind of like oracles. But yeah, we're going to get into this together. So, starting with your oracles. So, October breakthroughs. We have big picture thinking. That's a breakthrough, to say the least. I've never actually pulled this card before. This is so pretty. So, big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. So, yeah. Talk about a breakthrough. I mean, we're already off to a good start. You also have Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. And then we also have You Got the Love. So Heradian energy, codependency, boundaries. Okay, so already we have Pleiades, we have Horus, and we have Heradian energy coming through. Not all of these cards represent different star systems. So right away, I feel like you guys are going to feel very much more connected to your celestial family if you guys resonate with that. So if you resonate with being a starseed, or at least someone who hasn't just been to planet Earth, if you like to astral travel or astral project or whatever, it's like I feel like you'll feel very much more connected to the divine and much more connected to your soul's blueprint and what it is that you have to offer this time around. I'm also hearing that, I'm hearing that it's not necessarily that you may exhibit codependent behaviors, but I'm feeling like this has more to do with other people being codependent on you. So, take that how it resonates. I don't know why that's the message that came through. Well, I mean, we do have this, the hawk coming through, or that might be a falcon. I'm not sure. I always get them confused. But it just seems like you tend to be much more of like the mentor. Anytime the male aspect of Star Brothers or Star Sisters comes through, this just reminds me of the Hierophant energy, someone that, just kind of feels like a big brother, or someone that kind of takes other people underneath their wing, so to speak. So I feel like you will have very many breakthroughs in terms of learning how to set healthier boundaries with people that might be a little bit codependent on you. And, there's no judgment here. We've all been that person, right? So that message might resonate for some of you. Also, yeah, so with this big picture thinking, and then this guy having like light illuminated over his crown chakra, I'm feeling like this is kind of a very big, very much so symbolizing your connection to the divine. And I just keep hearing you have guides, you have a strong connection to your star team, or your star origins, or your star family, or the Galactic Federation. There's beings that I feel like have either come to you in dream state, or that you've been consciously trying to make a connection with. And if that does not resonate with you, if that does not sound like it, just know that you have a lot of guidance and a lot of protection from other dimensional beings that are very loving. And you can also, it's important that you remember to set boundaries. I feel like that's what part of this is you are so astrally in tune. And, part of the breakthroughs you're having is feeling much more connected to the all and to the whole. And it's important to remember how to set healthy boundaries. So one thing that I tend to do when I'm consciously connecting with guides or whatever is I specifically say only beings of the highest truth, the highest love and light are able to influence my thoughts, my vibration, my direction, anything, right? And any other beings with any other intentions that are not of the highest good and the highest timeline for myself and planet Earth, you are not welcome here. You are not welcome to influence my vibration, right? The law of free will lets us exercise that power. So I feel like more so than people creating boundaries with people, although that might apply to some of you, I feel like overall it's establishing boundaries more in the astral realms. So in the realms of spirit, the spiritual realms, etc. But I feel like overall, the breakthroughs you're having are very much so insight, divinely inspired ideas are coming through. So you might have felt like you were in a stagnant energy or stagnant period where you didn't feel really connected to the source, or you didn't feel very connected to the divine, or it felt like things were feeling stagnant, or you weren't receiving a lot of creative impulses or ideas. And it's important to remember too that when we don't act on the impulses or inspirations that we're getting, that they will stop coming or they won't come as frequently. So make sure that in the month of October, those divinely inspired breadcrumb trails that you are getting, that you are also acting on those. But overall, yeah, I feel like you will feel a very enhanced connection the month of October to your divine self, to your soul plan or your soul's purpose, your life purpose, your soul destiny, your highest timeline, whatever you want to call it. There's an infinite number of ways to call it, right? But overall, it's like you feel connected to the bigger picture, and you're going to feel much more solid about what it is that you have to offer to this planet, like much more solid in your gifts, much more solid in terms of sorry, I'm getting a lot of connections at once right now. You'll just feel much more solid in the piece that you are to play on the planet at this time. So when we feel really connected to our own individual purpose, like FOMO ceases to exist. We don't feel like we're comparing ourselves to other people. We're not comparing our paths to other people or our journeys to other people. Like we're really just in our own lane, right? So there's no comparison that can come from that when you understand we're all playing our own piece, our own part, and ultimately we're all playing all the parts. So it's like you're not really missing out on that level anyways. So let's get into your tarot. This is a pretty straightforward message so far. So the first tarot card you have is Eight of Cups. So yeah, this actually might involve walking away from someone, man. Talks about protection, loyalty, safe trust. So might also talk about walking away from, walking away from something that might elicit feelings of fear because maybe you're too focused on the temporary discomfort that it's going to create to walk away from something that you've known for so long, whether that's a career or a person or whatever. It's like this big picture thinking with the Eight of Cups just reminds me of this idea of, walking away from something now that kind of hurts, but it's because deep down that you're making space for something better. And when I mean better, I don't mean people are essentially better or there's like we're better or worse than each other. It's just like more relevant for the amount of growth that you've undergone so far. Honestly, this could also be, talk about like travel or long distance relationships or something, or like long distance work opportunities. So it's like this notion, just take this as the notion of like something might feel a little bit inconvenient for a while, but ultimately it's like it's going to allow more connection to yourself, more connection to your purpose and what it is that you're here to do. And, this did just come through, but just remember, your guides are really reiterating this to me. Just remember that we are only revealed the next step once we take the first one that we're given. So again, this is coming back to protection, loyalty to the mission, safety, trusting, right? So like when we take a step in a direction that we're not actually 100% sure that the payoff is going to work out, right? We're taking a risk. Life itself is a risk. Nothing is like secure in the way that we think it is. But when we take that step towards, what feels right to our heart, and we're relying less on our logical mind, which only bases its understanding and knowing off of past experiences, it's like you will then be revealed more steps. You will then get higher and more realistic glimpses of that timeline, like feeling it in your body that it's already here, even if your external reality doesn't look anywhere close to what you think it should. Like you will feel it in your bones, and you amplify, you expand that bandwidth, that connection to your highest timeline when you take the steps in the right direction. That might be inconvenient for a little bit. It might not make sense, but it's like, you have to do this thing in order to set you up. Right? Spirit is being like, okay, we got to go down this route for a little bit. It's part of your story. It's part of how you're going to inspire other people. We're all connected. So again, it's relinquishing this idea that we know what's best for ourselves, right? Oftentimes it's like our dreams and our visions for ourselves are much more diluted and nowhere close to what Spirit has actually in store for us. So this is like this is going to apply differently to all of you, but getting a little bit uncomfortable for a little bit of time, because ultimately, it's going to take you closer to your highest timeline into what your soul self, your higher self really wants for you. That's that bigger picture thinking. And so following, you know, that divine guidance, following those visions, following those insights. I feel like in the month of October, you're either moving closer to it or you have maybe already made that transition. And this is confirmation of like job well done. And that, you know, there are great things in store for you. Or maybe that transition is going to happen this month, but getting a little bit uncomfortable, a lot uncomfortable for a little bit of time for some of you, but ultimately it's going to serve your highest timeline. So let's see what else is in store here. We have 10 of Swords in reverse, and we also have Judgment. So yeah, a little bit of a resistance to, you know, I feel like just being honest about something that has, like something that's over, dead and done, maybe trying to hold on a little bit. That might also be what's coming through with this codependent thing. Some of you guys might be, you know, going through a divorce. Some of you guys might just be ending a long-term relationship or something, you know, of the sort of like hard to admit that something's over. But on the other side of this, or if that's not the case, if you're like, no, I already know, then it just might feel like this idea of like, just be mindful. Your guides are saying be mindful of the thought process of I'm always going to be here, or this is how it's always been, right? Being mindful of the stories that you're telling yourself, because that can help keep us, that can keep us in paradigms that we've already outgrown, or that we say we're done with, or we say that we're over with, but there's still that emotional attachment. Even if it's like you think that you want freedom, you think you want happiness, that story is baggage, and that keeps you karmically locked to that timeline and that paradigm. So whatever you need to do to really cut ties with those energies is really important. And to, again, be mindful of the stories that you're telling during this time. But with the Judgment card here, I feel like overall you're feeling very free. Like this is a great tarot card to end with the reading. Like you got the love, right? You got everything that you need. You're going to really see how divinely supported you are and how many people are in your court. And ultimately this is like a resurrection of self. I feel like this might, even for some of you, this might be like you guys have felt really stagnant for a while, or like it's like nothing's gonna give, or like when the F is this gonna give. And I feel like there's a resurgence of your dreams, or a revival of your dreams, a renewal of hopes that had been long lost, or something. Something's gonna shift. And it does, I am seeing that it does require a shift in perception, and it does require courage to a certain level. Like it feels like there is definitely going to be conversations that are going to be had with people that might be a little uncomfortable, right? But overall, big picture thinking. And this might not even be just in the realms of walking away from something like a person or a relationship, but this also might be meaning, like with this, you know, this whole energy that's coming through here, like taking the steps that you need to, getting a little bit uncomfortable might mean like, you know, taking a small pay cut for a little bit, but ultimately being so much more fulfilled. Like, I can finally leave this fucking job that's so draining. Like I have a little bit of a pay cut, you know, I've got a cushion with my savings. It's going to be a little uncomfortable because I'm used to being in control, but now I'm again, a resurgence, a resurrection, rising from the dead. It's like, I'm done playing around, man. Like I gotta get down to work. I gotta get to business, right? So let's get into your crystals that you pulled. I think it was this one that you guys probably selected. So this is blue spinel. This talks about persistence, fresh perspective, and revival. Okay. You guys know this is why I like to do this at the end, because like you can't make this up. You really cannot make this up. And this reminds me of persistence too, right? I just love this so much. So revive to keep alive. Blue spinel brings new energy to stagnant parts of your life, from inside your body to the world outside. The name of this stone comes from the Latin word for spine, and blue spinel will give you a strong backbone, sense of self, and reason to stand tall despite any challenges you may face. Hell yes. Backbone with this like codependent thing, right? Standing up for yourself, these boundaries, right? knowing what it is that you want, speaking up, standing up for yourself. I just said that, but that needed to come through twice for some of you. So this is a great crystal for workaholics as it eases stress and anxiety and instills a renewed sense of resolution. You can make it to the end if you put your mind to it. Didn't I say renewal and revival? I was like using those and both those words came up. That's so great. I love that. You can make it to the end if you put your mind to it. Blue spinel provides that fresh perspective to reset and rejuice. So the sign that it resonates with is Gemini. The planet is Pluto. So you might grab you some blue spinel, but I feel like that just was, completely reiterated everything we just said. Next, we have carnelian. Not surprised. This talks about courage, motivation, and endurance. Yes, big picture thinking requires being courageous enough and persistent enough. I think this also talked about persistence. Yeah, courageous and persistent and being able to actualize on something that only you can see, right? Spirit's only gifting it to you. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You don't have to. You can try to, but you don't have to, right? So this talks about being powerful and bold. Carnelian increases self-confidence in yourself, especially when you need to take center stage and use your voice effectively. A stabilizing stone, carnelian helps balance volatile emotions for long-term vitality. Believed to protect the soul in the afterlife, carnelian is a stone of the living meant to motivate you to take chances with the life you have. Again, big picture thinking, inspired ideas, taking that chance, getting a little uncomfortable, right, for a little bit, or maybe a lot uncomfortable for a little bit for that big picture, man. Life is meant to be lived with passion and desire, and carnelian gives you the courage to do so. Carpe diem, seize the day. The signs it resonates with are Taurus, Cancer, Leo, and Scorpio, and the planet is the sun. So yeah, I mean, I also saw a correlation between, the throat chakra and the carnelian has to do with like solar plexus. Yeah, because I mean, the planet is the sun. So it's like the more that you stick up for yourself, the more that you trust your soul's expression, the more that you go down those avenues, you take those steps that you're guided to take, and you don't over explain yourself. You don't feel like you're obligated to anyone. You are not obligated to anyone, right? The more that you do that, these two channels feed each other so much, right? When you, which kind of makes sense because the heart, yeah, it's like the heart is the center, and then this would resonate with this, and the third eye would resonate with the sacral, and then the crown and the root. That makes a lot more sense to me now. So one of my psychic friends at this crystal shop that he owns, I'll never forget him telling that to me. The throat chakra and the solar plexus are extremely linked. So when you strengthen one, you strengthen another. And so when you strengthen them both together, which looks like what you guys are being guided to the month of October, it's like you are a powerhouse. No one can stop you. You become a full source of authority to yourself. You're not looking to others for permission on how to show up, how to act, etc. It's like you guys are really, the month of October, it's like either congratulating you for this step that you have taken to get a lot uncomfortable for a little bit of time, however that resonates for you guys specifically, or it's like preparing you, or you're finally going to make that leap, or you're finally at least going to get the energy moving in that direction, and you're going to have those conversations that are going to catalyze you, into 2022. So I hope this brought you guys something. This was a great reading. Thank you for entrusting me to do these types of readings with you. And know that I have about a year's worth of other tarot pick-a-card readings on my primary channel. You can find that in the description box. I also offer personal readings at this time. Everything you need to know is down below. Please give this video a like. Please comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you have a wonderful day. What's up, team? All right, if you guys chose this crystal, this is your reading. You actually have two. And they're both heart chakra crystals. I just want to say right off the bat. So I've already get a feel of what this reading is going to be about, or what October breakthroughs, insights, guidance, and more has in store for you. But I've been saving those till the end, because if you're coming from other piles, you see how excited I get to see how literally word for word things I've been saying are confirmed and brought up on the back of these things. But we're going to do that together. I haven't read those yet. So we're going to start with your two oracles, and then we're going to get into the tarot together. So month of October, main theme for you. Forge, don't follow. This is one of my favorite cards. Oh, I just want to soak this up. Forge, don't follow. Pave a new path. Be the leader you wish you had. Damn. Can we just soak this up? And wait, it's not time yet. Things are being woven. All right, Spirit. Well, you couldn't have given us more conflicting messages here. Okay, so I'm just kidding. Let's get right into this. So, month of October, you guys are acclimating yourself. It's like, oh man, there's so much. There's a lot of very powerful souls that have been drawn to this pile. All souls are from source, so we're all powerful. But what I kind of mean by that is there are some like big, like heavy hitters. That might not even be the word for it, but there are just some like big thinkers and visionaries, very beings that are very much so meant to create very tangible change on the planet. So I feel like the month of October is, I think you've already been in this. You've already been in this energy of being the leader that you wish you had. I feel like this is a group that has been working really hard. I'm hearing you guys have come a very long way in who you are, and not who you've become, but who you've let go of. The versions of you that have kind of been standing in the way or feel like they were impeding a more natural flow of your higher self, your soul self, to be expressed through your physical vessel and through your humanoid expression. All right, I had this weird fear that my mic wasn't on, and you don't hear any audio if it's not on, so I just had to double check. So I feel like the guides were like, this is going to be a powerful one, so just make sure you're getting this all down, Marissa. So yeah, I feel like you guys have been already on the path of paving a new path for yourself, or maybe in the month of October for some of you. It's like you're really seeing, like you're really fed up. Either you have gone through that phase already where you're like, I'm fed the fuck up with the way things are, and I'm going to do my own thing because I'd rather die happy doing my own thing than like sweating bullets and living in fear and living a half-assed life for the promise of security that isn't even, might not even last until next month or something. Like, this is a very courageous group. These are beings that came here to shatter the fucking paradigms, man, on this planet. And if you're not already in that energy, which I feel like the vast majority of you guys are, it's like October, you are feeling that more and more. You're feeling that kind of like friction and tension of living a life based on other people's ideals. But again, for most of you, you have already kind of done that. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if, oh, this is so beautiful. There's like a rainbow here. Yeah, like I'm seeing the stars, the celestial realms here, and then earth. It's like you are grounding heaven on earth. You are here on a mission. And I think you've known that and probably felt that for most of your life since you were a child, and not even known why, but always felt like connected to a bigger purpose. So there might be some impatience happening here, right? So some timelines might not have worked out the way that you thought they would, but I'm hearing in October, you're going to find a lot of resolution, specifically around like letting your heart be at peace. Because we did have these two heart chakra cards come up, and this is literally your heart. So I can't help but notice that your heart is going to feel at peace with the natural unfolding of things. I feel like the main thing that your guides are telling me, you guys, is that there can tend to be just an impatience because you know yourself to be so powerful, and you know in other realms. And for the most part, you guys are very powerful manifestors, but I feel like there is something that you're doing, or there's a new direction, or there's a timeline that you keep getting glimpses of, or that you can feel. It's like you can feel you are already part of, you're already leading retreats, or you're already doing this thing, but it's just not materialized yet. And it feels like, oh, why can't I be there yet? But it's like honoring, just be patient, honor the flow. Like things are being woven, the right puzzle pieces need to fall in place, and it's a co-creation. Your puzzle piece involves other people. So other people might not be up to speed yet, or, other people have other people they need to inspire. It's like you guys are going to be working with, like, I'm just seeing like you guys being like teachers of teachers, or working with other teachers, or being on stage with other teachers, or whatever you do. It's like you are, really well known in your field, whether it's a spiritual community or not. Like the notion of being well known and working with all the other people that are also very well known, or, in this day and age, there's so many different teachers and healers and just like experts these days that, one of the beautiful things about that is you don't have to feel overwhelmed, for one. Like it's a lot of responsibility, but for two, it just kind of reminds you that there's a lot of space, right? There's no competition, and that there are, you know, just as many, there's a lot of beings that do need you to be exactly who you are. So, and exactly as you are. So it's just like, I'm feeling this need to remind you guys that there's no rush. No one's going to get it before you. There's room, there's space, and there's enough to go around. I don't know. That's just what's coming through. So let's see. Let's get deeper with the tarot. So I've been starting off with these guys, these bigger ones. So we are going to start with this Nine of Pentacles. So month of October, you're going to feel very self-sufficient in terms of financial goals. This also talks about if you have been, like, this is a really good omen for entrepreneurs and beings that are, you know, have taken a more creative endeavor and taken their finances and career into their own hands. So, you know, the 9 cards talk about self-fulfillment. So this is relying less on other people, relying less on the good favors of other people. So interesting that I actually had that come up about not relying, about relying or waiting for other people to come around. But, you know, overall, this is saying, like, do what you can, but understand that as independent as you would like to be and as much as you want to get this ball rolling, that there are some components here that are not fully, like, what's the word? Maturation, but also gestation. The gestation period is still, you're kind of still in this gestation period, but you can feel your timeline. It's like, you feel like it's already here. And a big part of that is just an excitement of your blueprint and of your timeline materializing, and you knowing and seeing proof of, like, your highest dreams and everything that you maybe once in a past life or a past version of you thought was just, like, too good to be true. And you're like, could I really do this? I feel like you're really starting to see and get closer to that feeling of, like, oh my God, I can fucking do this. And so it's like, like, there's a lot of excitement, but there's also a need to be patient and to, you know, let the wings of the universe, let the universe help this or help you with this. There might also be some, like, balancing within, like, emotional healing. Nervous system healing is also what I'm hearing. So it might not actually have to do with other people not being fully ready. I'm not saying y'all aren't fully ready, but there just might be some more purging that needs to happen. It's not necessarily that we're not good at manifesting. A lot of the time, we just have this karma that are, like, these old thoughts, these old stories, these old versions of self that we're attaching to that actually clogs the pipe of a more seamless flow of that reality. So you just might be going through a cleansing period. Next, we have the 10 of Cups. Wow. So this really is a celebration on an emotional level. I feel like this is everything. I'm really feeling this with this 9 of Pentacles and this 10 of Cups. It's like, this is the life of your dreams. So I'm not surprised why you guys might be feeling a little bit impatient. Also, I just heard unworthiness, that unworthiness complex. Go check out my video on my primary channel if you're not also subscribed to that channel already. But I'm kind of walking you guys real time what my guides have been walking me through the past, like, month. Because I also feel this too. I feel there's, like, it's not so much that I need to change or become anything. It's like there's a letting go. But I've been feeling this. You guys have been feeling this for a while, and it's like there's an impatience, but, you know, honor that divine unfolding, right? Being the leader that you wish you had. So understanding that you are a leader. You are a leader for many people, and what would you have wished, or what would you need to hear from someone else that you really admire during this time to put you at ease, to put your heart in a state of peace? Because if we're not in a state of peace, man, that's blocking the flow. When you're relaxed, things come to you, right? When you're kind of rigid and forced, you keep things away, right? So I feel like what would you need to hear? Maybe go into, like, an automatic writing session where you're channeling your higher self, something where you are getting a higher perspective of how to let this naturally unfold. Next, we have the Queen of Wands. So yeah, man, this is the card of being an innovator. This is the card of, like, being your own person, literally being the leader, paving a new path, forging, not following. Like, this, we could not get any more evidence of momentum, especially with the cheetah, jaguars, etc. Remind me of momentum. The Wands family, the King and Queen of Wands in particular, talk about, like, fast moving energy, creative energy. So you're moving very quickly, But because the Queen is coming up, this is saying that you've matured. You've come a long way. It's not the Page. It's not the Knight, which can kind of represent like flighty energy or immature energy. It's like this is the real deal, man. And I think part of this healing, part of this that's coming up, the month of October, the breakthrough you're going to have is you're going to kind of see how it's not necessarily that there might be part of you that just like feels like it's too good to be true and that you don't actually deserve it, right? That may be part of why your guides are asking you to wait, because it's like when you get that reality, if those karmic knots haven't cleared themselves out, that's where self-sabotage becomes really likely. So I feel like your guides are really coming through, man, and being like, hey, we're trying to help you. It's not that you don't deserve this. You deserve this, but you need to fully be on board that you deserve this, because we don't want any self-sabotaging. It's like literally, man, this is like dreams come true and helping other people make their dreams come true. You are a leader. You are going to be sharing this with a lot of people. You know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of people asking how you did it. And so a big part of that is, as you honor your process, you will be communicating to other people the importance of them honoring their process, right? So we have 2 more tarot cards. Let's see. We have the 8 of Swords. So this is about, so the 8 cards are cards of opportunity and like moving forward. Yeah, opportunity cards. So there's an opportunity to learn something here. And the 8 usually signifies, the 8 of Swords usually signifies doubts and fears that, you know, aren't actually real. They're not actually based in reality. And that through your perseverance and not giving them, not feeding those stories, you will prevail. You will overcome. You will see it through to the end. Again, this rainbow kind of reminds me of that saying, like, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And, you know, rainbows are made through clouds and storms, etc. So I feel like, you know, your guides are coming through and reiterating the importance of releasing yourself and not attaching to these old stories. Whatever you guys have been through, I think that was the first thing that came through is I literally said, you have done a lot to be where you are. And I feel like generally, at least, you know, like attracts like. So I'm just going to take a shot in the dark and say, y'all have been through some shit and y'all have battled with some heavy demons. And so it's like, you know, there's this entity, Bashar, channeled by this man named Daryl Anka. And Bashar talks about like, it's called the rubber band effect. So the deeper that one is pulled into a shadow, like if you imagine stretching a rubber band, the more sure you can be that when you release it, the faster and the farther it flings into the light. And so I feel like that's why you have such beautiful, like this is like a fairy tale kind of life, man. And it's almost like because of what you've been and the realities you've seen and the past versions of self and the things you've did, the things you've said, etc. It's almost like you're like this undeserving feeling, this unworthiness feeling. And so this is why your guides are like, okay, we're going to put a pause. You can feel it. You feel it more every day, right? But the more you feel it and the more you get small glimpses of it, you're going to sit with those. You're going to sit with that purging of your spirit, of your heart being like, oh, I don't deserve it. Or I feel guilty for that one thing I did to that one person 10 years ago and I don't deserve it, right? You're going to let that all that shit come up and see for what it is. It's illusion, right? It's a story. Untie yourself. Lastly, we have 7 of Wands. So, look at those sneaky little buggers. So 7 of Wands, the 7 cards in general talk about, like, it's like contemplation. So contemplating like where you've been, how far you've come. This literally talks about like staking your claim now, staking your claim in this reality, or getting up, starting new, starting afresh. So I feel like you are in this, like, you are in this energy of, I feel like you don't see any other, like, you know without a shadow of a doubt that this is your reality. It's like there's maybe doubts, but there's no doubt in terms of what belongs to you. Like, I feel like you guys have never felt so sure of your timeline and what it is that you're here to do and bring to the planet and the people you're going to work with and being known by a lot of people is what I'm seeing. Again, leadership keeps coming through and just being this like self-fulfilled fucking rock star, man. Celestial rock star, being, goddess, God, right? It's like you've never been so sure. And so this is really telling me that you are staking your claim. You are here to the end. In October, I feel like you're going to feel that so much more. You're going to feel so much more convicted than you ever thought you could. And because of that, Spirit is saying, let that be your permission to relax. Let that be your permission to take it slow, to notice those insecurities, those past illusions, those stories try to come up. The ego needs something to identify with when it feels like it's going to be eradicated in terms of, or in place of something bigger and much more vast. It likes to hold on to these old stories to keep you needing it, to keep you trying to like rationalize out of those stories. That keeps you on the same level. You literally have to get out of this. You have to get out of your mind, right? Stake your claim in spirit, man. This is your timeline. I feel like you already know. And if this feels like you're not quite there yet, October, by the end of October, I wouldn't be surprised if you're like, whoa, like Spirit's giving you a ton of confirmations of like, this is my path. This is where I'm supposed to be. And it requires a tenderness, right? That peaceful nature is like trusting. It's being open to the divine flow, to divine inspiration, to divine ideas. So I keep coming back to the heart. You know, the heart is the bridge between heaven and earth, which also we have a rainbow here. That's what literally the rainbow bridge, at least what my guides communicate to me. The rainbow bridge is like the bridge between heaven and earth. It's like the bridge between your higher ideals, your highest timeline, and allowing that to ground. So the more releasing you do of the heart, the more forgiveness, really important, forgiveness. Releasing old resentments, not bringing the past with you, right? Contemplation, but in a way that leaves you feeling resolved, holistically resolved. And like you're not bringing any baggage, you're not bringing any resentments, because that, again, pride closes down the heart chakra, right? But forgiveness reopens that. So let's finish off. Rose quartz talks about love, nurture, romance. It resonates with the signs Taurus and Libra and the planet Venus. So calling in unconditional love. Yes, with that forgiveness energy. Rose quartz invokes a gentle yet powerful feminine energy that nurtures and protects your heart. It can be used to attract new romance and to build closer bonds in your relationships. Rose quartz opens the heart chakra and heals heartache, grief, and any unexpressed emotions. It asks that you show yourself compassion, forgiveness, and acceptance. Rose quartz also inspires beauty in all forms. Open your heart to the beauty within you. So this might be some of this past stuff, just like might not be necessarily with other people, but forgiving past versions of yourself. Again, that guilt that we talked about. So this one is malachite. Cleanse trauma, intensity, and transformation. So the signs are Scorpio, Capricorn, and the planet is Venus. Malachite takes no prisoners, at least with your spiritual journey. A powerful conduit for energy, malachite cleanses the emotional body of trauma. If I didn't mention that, that's pretty much what I meant to say. Or something that at least I've been talking about so much on my primary channel. Again, check that out if you haven't already. Something I've been talking about so much that I just assume I talked about it on every single one of these piles. So whether from this life or a past life, doesn't matter, that trauma. So a teacher of emotional responsibility, malachite asks that you take accountability for your feelings and help release patterns that no longer serve you. Look deep within the whirls and patterns of malachite to access other dimensions within yourself. Explore different timelines and hidden messages. Bringing your subconscious to light. So yeah, that's one thing my guides have been talking about a lot is, and this is what I felt like I was trying to communicate. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this because I'm like, Marissa's gone and I really am just as much as I can being an open vessel and sometimes forget what the hell I say. And then I watch this back and I'm like, oh my God, I said that. It's so cool. So again, part of this waiting period, this pausing period, oh yeah, we kind of did touch on it, is those old karmic wounds coming up, right? Your nervous system kind of cleansing itself. When you're not at peace, again, it's generally because we have like this fight, flight, or freeze, or we feel tense, or we feel like we need to defend ourselves or defend our position. And like, just this energy of being on defense actually blocks, again, it closes down the heart chakra. So whatever you can do to release trauma and past wounds, etc. And a lot of the time it, again, requires you to not attach so much to the stories and just to like sit with it and pause. Again, this energy of just like pausing, and man, there's so much great things in store. October is about to be off the charts. You're about to have such incredible breakthroughs. You're probably already having breakthroughs left and right. And there's exciting things in store for you, my friends. And yeah, I hope I meet some of y'all along the way. I probably will. This is like, this is big stuff. This is like big energies, big shoes to fill. But y'all are like, how many pairs? Like, I'm this size, this size, this size. Like, this is, y'all mean business, and it'll come. Just have faith, surrender, keep your heart open, purge unforgiveness, resentment, etc. Just sit with your trauma. Don't attach to stories. Be there and nurture your inner child, and it's all going to flood in sooner than you think, man. Sooner than you think. All right, friends, I have a year's worth of other pick a cards on my primary channel. Go check out my other videos that I mentioned. I feel like it might help you guys because I'm literally going through similar purges and transformations in order to make space for my highest timeline. Check that out. Leave a comment. Give this video a like. If you haven't subscribed already, maybe consider doing that. And I hope I see you soon.